I had a great educational experience in my small farm town of Earlville, and if you can help one teacher, or if I could give back to one teacher, then I've served my purpose. My passion is bringing people together. Hello, my name is Phyllis Lubinski, and I'm a board member on the District 64 School Board of Education. My parents and the love of this community. I grew up, for some people who don't know me, in the restaurant business. Both my maternal and paternal parents and grandparents were in the restaurant business, and they always said, if you have the time, the energy, and the ability to help your community, you should always give back. And so I grew up in a small farm town, Earlville, Illinois, District number 9. Had 1,000 people, or maybe 1,200 then, and it was a close-knit community. And so although Park Ridge has got 30,000, I still feel like it's a close-knit community. And I thought, you know what, I have time, I have energy, and I'll give it a go. So here I am. What I like most about District 64 is the tightness and the close-knit community that we have, and the teachers. I had a great educational experience in my small farm town of Earlville, and if you can help one teacher, or if I could give back to one teacher, then I've served my purpose. I'll just tell a little story, because this teacher is, we're friends. I'm friends still with a lot of those classmates. There are only 25 graduating kids in my class, or thereabouts. And my parents had a restaurant, and it burnt down. And so just like that, overnight, your livelihood and your life changes. And so the next morning, I went to school, and I'll never forget it. My 3rd grade teacher, Miss Eleanor was her name, walked in, and the class was already seated. And she looked at me, and no words were needed. She just came over and she gave me a hug. And all the kids in my class started asking, what happened? What happened to the restaurant? Because the bus drove right past Route 34 and saw what had happened. And she said, you don't have to answer. And I said, well, I don't know what happened. I was asleep. It happened last night. And I'll never forget that teacher or the other teachers in that school. It was a small school, but they embraced me and my siblings. It just felt so at home to me, and the kids were young kids, but they all rallied around me, and I thought, I'm going to have a community like that. And so my husband is a graduate of 207, and we were in 64 because of the schools. And when my children started going to school, I was in the schools. I was the room mom, and then I was the co-vice president at Emerson Middle School. I was the PTO president at Field. And I just loved, I was on the teacher appreciation committee. It's like, I love to give to the teachers because they gave to me as a kid. And like I said, if I could give and I get anything back, then my job here is done, because you always want to leave it better than you found it, right? I am still friends with this teacher. If I called her up right now, she would remember me, and we would have this conversation. And for me, she may not remember how it made me feel. She may just remember the event. But that hug was everything in the world to me at that moment, because as a young kid, you don't know how to act. I was like, do I answer? I don't even know the answers. Like, all I know is I woke up, and for us, my parents' restaurant was kind of my home. We were with my parents all the time. We had a room that had our toys, our desks, our homework, and it was like everything I knew. People laughed. They said, did you live at home? Not really. I mean, of course we had a home, but we were always at the restaurant. My parents worked hard morning, noon, and night, and they never left us with babysitters or nannies. We were always with them and working or not working, but I did start working at the age of 10. My dad said, you should start working, and I said, okay. So I went to go get my little apron, and they had 2 different color aprons, and the black one was for the waitresses and the cashiers in the front, and the white ones were for the dishwashers and the cooks. And I came out, and my dad said, what are you doing? And I had my little black apron. I said, you said I had to work, so I'm ready to work. And he said, yeah, except for you have the wrong colored apron. I said, what do you mean? I'm the owner's daughter. And he said, yeah, that's right, and that's why you're going to go clean grease traps, so get to it. And that's where I learned my hard work, my ethic of working hard. Start from the bottom, work your way up, and that's what I try to do with everything I do today. For me, I would say it's the community. Our schools, I think our teachers have a longevity here. It's the schools, it's the parents that are involved that give you a sense of hope, a sense of good feeling. Everybody knows everybody. You're in the street, you're like, hey, there's so-and-so. You go to church, hey, there's so-and-so. And the same people that are your friends in the elementary schools will be your same friends all the way through high school. So for me, it's a sense of community. Yes, it is a suburb of Chicago, but it doesn't feel like that. You can walk into any of these schools and just be like, hey, I've always felt welcomed in these schools. My kids have felt welcome. We've done band, I mean, I've had teachers at my house for parties. It's just a community. It's a sense of community that, for me, brings me back home, even though it's 30,000 people instead of 1,200. We knew we wanted to be in District 64, so we purposely bought in Niles. I have 2 children. My daughter Sophia goes to Maine South, and my son Peter is at Emerson Middle School. I had a history teacher, Jim Carlson, who later became a superintendent. He was my history teacher, and I was always talking and joking around with him. He was young, I was jovial, and everybody would say, "You talk all the time, you're always joking." And one day he said, "Do you want to teach this class?" I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And so he said, "All right, tomorrow you're on." I said, "All right." And I loved it. I was like, "This is great." And he's like, "Good, well then you can keep doing it." So I did it for the whole week. And it was there that I found my love of politics and history. I went to Roosevelt University. I'm a double majored in paralegal studies and political science. And then because we were always working, my parents, they were very strict Italian parents, and so you always had to work. That was their life. I respected it. I did as I was told. And this teacher said, "You probably should do something in politics." And I was in 8th grade. I'll never forget it. And I said, "Well, what are we going to do here?" And he said, "Well, there's the young Republicans or there's the young Democrats. Pick one and go." I thought, well, I bet I could get out of the restaurant to go do that. And so I said to my parents, "Hey, Friday and Saturday, I'm not working. I'm going to go to this political thing." And they're like, "Okay, if it's educational, you can do it." I never stopped. I just kept going. And from there, I started in 8th grade knocking on doors. I worked for Bob Dole at the time. Bob Studinsky was a senator. Jerry Weller was a senator at the time, all local, Tillicel, Bureau County. But then when I came to the city, I worked on the Blagojevich campaign. I worked on Alderman Mell's campaign a little bit. I like it. I like connecting with the public. And I think that brings me to the restaurant business. You grow up in it. You see all different kinds of personalities. And I've said it before, there's not an education in the world that can prepare you better than the restaurant business, because you get all kinds of people there. Yeah. Yeah, we were supposed to learn the United States map. Okay. And at that point I was like, "We're in 8th grade. How do you guys not know this?" And he said, "Oh, you know them all?" I said, "Yeah, I do, actually." And so it was my task to come up with little rhymes and little tricks to remember these states.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Remember any now?
I do know the 50 states.
Okay. No,
the rhymes and tricks?
No, yeah.
Well, let's see. I'm thinking like L's like Louisiana or shaped like a toilet was one of the things. New Jersey and New York were kind of stinky, and, and that was it. Yeah. The Maryland and Massachusetts were like the girl names. Those types of tricks. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things people don't know about me. I'm a little bit private, so if you look at my social media, you'll see work stuff and school board stuff. I very rarely post pictures of my kids or my husband and me. I'm 100% Italian. I speak fluently in Italian, English obviously. I know just enough Spanish to sign up a legal case and see what their injuries are, which is important to get the case. I'm an avid cook and a baker. I love bringing people together, even in disagreements. To me, it's bringing people together. I feel like I don't hold any grudges, so if you've sent me any nasty emails, I don't hold grudges. Anybody who knows me knows I will say what I have to say to your face and get it off my chest, and I'm good after that. I can be friends with you again. I don't know, there's a lot. Yeah. Lasagna. Okay. Lasagna was like 5 inches thick. It was so cheesy coming out of those black ovens. That hot garlic bread, I make it now at home. I'm like, it's just not the same. The oven's just not the same. But I think at some point in my future, I probably will go back to my roots. I'm glad that I'm educated, but my passion is bringing people together, and my love language is food. If I could feed you, I'm all about it. It's not really a dish, but I make a pretty good charcuterie board. Oh. Yeah, people are always they're big for starters, and then I do it Italian and American style, if you will. So, and I started making them when my kids were little because they were finicky eaters, but they would eat salami and olives and cheese and bread. They just wouldn't eat it all together in a salad. So I was like, all right, well, let's do this. We're going to Grandma's, and this is my board, and that's how it started. I would put fruit on there, put fish on there. It's a whole smorgasbord of stuff, and people are always like, are you going to bring that charcuterie board? You bet I will.